Hello, my name is Colin Spenley. I'm happy to be here in this conference of smart cities, happy citizens, and special thanks to Patricia Fraga for inviting me. I'm a New Zealander, but I've actually lived now more years in Brazil than in New Zealand. I traveled the world as many Kiwis do, and I arrived in Brazil after a year of traveling, and I thought I will stay here a little while, and that was 30 years ago. It's a very special country. I really feel very blessed to have been received and welcomed and have developed a life here in Brazil. It's very important, this conference, because it's very important that we start to bring together threads of what's available, what's possible to improve quality of life. And of course, there's big challenges in many different areas. I really just want to talk about a very small, but I feel very significant area, which is an integrated awareness of bioenergy, our energies and how they affect our emotions and our brain and vice versa. This interface, this interconnected system that we are. And so I've been practicing holistic therapy, bringing different threads of different practices together for over 20 years. I also do courses and lectures on personal development in general, but it always starts with and involves our mind, emotions, energy systems, and body. And it's incredible that despite all the modern technology that we have, the development of AI and everything, depression is going through the roof, anxiety, and Brazil, unfortunately, is one of the top countries suffering from depression. And I think it's gotten worse. When I arrived here 30 years ago, I would literally walk the streets and count the seconds between smiles. People just generally had a joyful and cheerful nature to them. But I think it's not just Brazil. I think worldwide there has been a growth of depression and anxiety. And I think one of the problems is we are still not bringing together these threads to do with energy, to do with emotion, to do with the brain. So there are a lot of specialized subjects and specialized therapies. My own little effort is to bring what I've seen to be extremely effective methods into one package that a person can receive help with. I do personal therapy, but also I believe it's something that could be integrated into schools, hospitals, workplaces, with a few minutes activity every day, changing the state, changing the emotional state and mental state and energy state of the people present. In Brazil, for example, in 2019, there was a statistic that 10% of the population was suffering from depression. And that, they say, has gone up exponentially. I couldn't find more recent statistics. And often that's associated with the socio-economic situation. But England has even worse statistics. It's 1 in 6 adults is diagnosed or suffering depression. And those are the people that are reporting it. Those are the people that are coming forward. And so it's a very serious issue. And that's just depression. That's actually diagnosed depression. What about mild upset? What about not just feeling well in oneself generally? So I think we need the humility to look at the older systems, like ancient China, for example. They would pay a retainer to the doctor, to the physician, to keep them healthy. And if the person got sick, then the payment stopped. In other words, the doctor wanted to keep everybody healthy and well, and they lost their income if the person got sick. We now have the opposite model. The hospitals and pharmaceutical companies make money off people being sick, which is a worrying thing to consider. However, before going forward, I want to invite you to experience a little of the interconnectedness of energy, thought, and emotions, and give a little sampling of what I do with people and what I feel is waiting to be revolutionized in the world, because it's incredible that we still open up a book of biology and there's the physical side of the human. Think of Gray's Anatomy, the detail of the incredible physical human system. And yet we don't have a book that opens up and shows us our electromagnetic side. And yet we know it's there. We'll go for an electrocardiogram, electroencephalograph. The human electromagnetic field can be measured at a distance now. And yet somehow it's not integrated into our daily awareness. And somehow it's not integrated into how it affects mind, emotions, body, and vice versa. So I want you to try a couple of small exercises just to highlight how at hand, and there's a pun intended there because we're going to use our hand, how at hand our electrical systems are and how immediately they can affect us. What my particular system does is it brings the best of tapping, like a concise version of tapping, which was discovered by Roger Callahan. It was, in a way, made more accessible by Gary Craig. I studied the Gary Craig system, and over the years I've condensed this tapping, which is the slight tapping on different parts of the meridian system. I've condensed it down so that it's not necessary to go into the detail of a person's life. One can apply the technique to shake off and remove anything from heavy emotions to mild irritations on a day-by-day basis. But what I found really made the tapping potent was doing a little energy work first. And that's what I want to do with you. Watching, if you can free your hands, give them a bit of a shake. I want to show you a couple of exercises just to show you how immediate this interconnectedness is of our energies, mind, emotions, and body. So if you sit a little bit straighter for a moment and turn your head to the side and just note how far you can turn your head before it reaches its limit. You'll feel a tension form there. Then use the hand that is on the opposite side of where you're turning from. And I want you to use this finger here, this finger that we use for the ring finger. Now I want you to put this ring finger, yes, strange, but just put it under your nose like that. Then turn again and see what happens. Try it on the other side. You might feel there's a limit of you will feel there's a limit of how far you can turn. This finger here, I call it the yellow finger because each finger, we know from acupressure, acupuncture, from the Chinese system, is connected into certain energy systems. So there's a reason we put the ring on that finger. It connects into emotional energy. So we're going to put that finger just under the nostril there. And now it's only a few centimeters difference, but I hope you felt that you got a freeing up in that movement. Again, if you take the hands away, you'll feel the restriction come back. Let's try another one. Let's try it with the arm. Put your arm out, turn it back. There's a point where you feel the restriction. You can look along the line of your arm, see where you're pointing to. Don't twist your body, just see how far you can turn your arm around. Now relax for a moment. And now with the other hand, use the middle finger, and do the movement again. And this time put the middle finger on the shoulder where you felt that restriction. And like magic, the arm is released. Try it on the other side. Restriction, blue finger. I call it the blue finger because this is the color that we can associate with this finger. Reason why is another conversation. So now imagine if we go through the body applying this freeing up and this relaxing process, because what's happening is the body has got a default setting of how far it can move. By applying a certain nature of frequency energy into that region, the body picks up the freeing up, the signal to free up, to release from that frozen state, from that limited state, and the movement extends. What happens is if we do that through the body, we can start to feel a greater energy flow come through our body, and it's a distinctive feeling. What then happens is when we do a little bit of tapping, more specifically tapping on meridians, any heavy emotions, any upsets, any anxiety, any depression flushes out of the system. For all our emancipation as a species, we're still pretty ignorant about how emotions work and how to manage them on a day-by-day basis. And one thing is to manage and not suffer certain feelings. Another is to learn how to use our energies and our emotions to start enjoying and appreciating moments, relationships, time in nature, all these types of things. Let's do one more little exercise just to highlight again, even mentally, the difference that can occur if we understand this type of thing. Now, what I want you to do is put your hands together, joining that line at the bottom, line to line, and just check the height of your fingers. You'll find that they come to a certain height, like that. Then I want you to look at your right hand and just for a moment imagine that you're wearing a green glove and that the fingers are growing. They're all growing a little bit higher, a little bit longer. Hold the thought for about 4 seconds. Then put your wrists together again, and you may find you got a similar result to me. And because even that tiny exercise, the tensions in the muscles relaxed and of the hand, and it expanded, it grew. I like to joke when I do this in public lectures that it's hope for shorter people, right? We can add a couple of inches on. So what I'm saying is I've worked over 20 years to develop a very simple system that can be used for personal therapy and removing traumas. The heaviest issues can be removed through this technique of clearing. We can take better care of our mind, emotions, body, by taking some of the best of different systems. And it's very easy to get stuck at the point of, oh, well, it's acupuncture or acupressure or some ancient system. It's not really relevant to my life. What I'm trying to do and have done is bring the best of some systems together for easy application. It can be used for serious issues, working through traumas and this type of life-affecting events that people often suffer. But it can also be used for maintenance and for keeping oneself in a better energy zone, a better emotional zone. And think about the situation of a class of children. They're going to spend an hour studying a particular subject. Think of the time that's used in physical preparation. You know, we brush our hair, we brush our teeth, we put on the clothes, got to be clean, take a shower, all this time for physical preparation. Compare the time spent on mental, emotional, energetic preparation. What if in 5 minutes, what if in 4 minutes, the child could be brought into the moment with better mental awareness, mindfulness, better emotional state, better energy state, to really enjoy that process of learning, but also to actually get it, because over time we start getting blocked with different emotions, with different energies, and our appreciation and feeling for the moment starts diminishing. So thank you. It was a very short presentation. Anybody interested, you can contact me on my WhatsApp number or email me. And I'd love to talk more and present more and explain more if the interest is there. Thank you again. Enjoy the conference, and maybe I'll see you in the future. Bye for now.